Okay, so my name is Mary. I work in UDAR, which stands for University Development and Alumni Relations, just in case people didn't know that. I work on the contests and the email push. So you might know it's an online giving campaign, a 24-hour campaign that has an email and a social media push to direct people to the website. And this is an example of last year's website. It does also have that launch gift period, so it's not completely a 24-hour fundraising campaign, but largely. So there's a Give Now button up there. So that's where people make their gifts. And if they go to that tab right there, leaderboards, that's where the contests are listed so they can see who's winning prize money. So how do you promote this if you're a small shop and you have hardly any time? So in the next 40 minutes, we'll give you some ideas so you can find something that works for your particular situation. This is a handout that's at the back to help you think strategically about your time. So we encourage you to right size how you expend your efforts. So taking all the suggestions that we give you and having a low return could equal you expending a lot of discouraging labor. But choosing a few tactics and spending limited time on just those could be the just right solution. And if you're really, really small, it could be that skipping Big Give makes sense for you. But I also want to acknowledge that perhaps we say that, but your management says, no, you need to do it. Okay, so during Big Give, and I don't know what I did. Okay, well, anyway, the contests are shown on leaderboards. And to strategize the contest, there's one thing we need to clarify that's pretty critical, is are you promoting a CMT fund or a non-CMT fund? And CMT stands for Campaign Management Team. There's a definition of it in our paperwork, but the main thing that how you would know is this. The CMT funds are, oh, I keep doing that wrong. They are shown right here on the Big Slice leaderboard. So see how this says School of Optometry? Behind those words is one particular fund, the Optometry Annual Fund. So that's considered a CMT fund. If you're from a small program, you're not listed here, and to find your fund, you'd have to go to this program search box. So if you have something like the Sage Scholars Fund that you're promoting, it's not going to be on the Big Slice. It's going to be available by searching the search box, and that's called a non-CMT fund. So I just wanted to define those as we go forward because there's a difference for you. So raise your hand if yours is a CMT fund. Okay, thank you. And raise your hand if you are promoting a non-CMT fund. Okay, great, thank you. That's so I know who's here. Okay, so CMT people, you are eligible for all contests. The Big Slice, the Big Bang, the Big Countdown, just all the way down. Non-CMT people, you are eligible for the Big Slice, the one at the top. But honestly, you'll get very little prize money from it. You are not eligible for Big Bang, the participation one that's right there. So where to focus your energy? Focus on the Big Countdown. This is what we sometimes call the hourly contests. And if you have an affiliated student group, I would also focus your energy on the new board, the one called Go Big for Student Groups. And that's it's based on the number of gifts, not the revenue, and the student groups must register with the lead center to participate. And we have, if anyone has questions of that, we have Jeff Woods from the lead center here who can answer specific questions about registering your student group. I think we might leave that until the end. Okay, so how do you promote it? Oh, good, that's perfect. You may already have some ideas, or, and what would be ideal is if we passed out, Pam, I didn't think of this. Did you pass out the tip sheet, the small unit tip sheet? Is it out? Do people have a paper? Okay, these are about to be passed out to you. So it's called Tips for Small Shops Without a CMT Fund. I realize not everybody here is without a CMT fund, but I'll get to that in a minute. So we sat down and tried to come up with the clearest and quickest tips for the small shops, and it's hopefully all on here. So are they coming out now? You don't have them yet. And I also wanted to let you know that at the end of this presentation, we're having 3 people come up to do tips from the trenches, because my philosophy is that if you're from a really small shop, the best tutors are the people who are in small shops as well. So you'll be hearing from some people like that today. Okay. You know what? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. No, we have these sheets, and they're coming out right now. I had them covered up by my bag in the back. So apologies for that. I'll just start talking about, you'll have this tip sheet in your hands in a minute, and we're going to go through it one by one. At this top, what it says, you can read that. I've already gone over the contest part with you. So when I first was writing this tip sheet, I wrote it thinking, okay, if I didn't have a CMT fund, what would I do? And then when I looked at the sheet, I realized that the first paragraph is specific to people without a CMT fund. The whole rest of this is not. It's pertains to everybody. So contest paragraph, we've already gone over that. The money. Contest winners get prize money. And while it's possible you won't win a contest, I just wanted people to focus on the fact that winning isn't the point of the day, giving is the point of the day. So the campus hype is a handy way for you to spread a message out to your audience. So use the big give to boost donations, to boost publicity for your program and for the fact that you need philanthropy. So even if you don't gain much in the way of dollars, you do have the opportunity to gain a lot of exposure. And it engages your audience as well. Okay, so does everyone have one of these tip sheets in there? Or raise your hands if you do not have a tip sheet in your hands. Okay. So they're coming right there. Okay, so we're going to move down to the next section. Says everything else in chronological order. So number 1, know your foundation fund. So the trick is this. In order to compete in the Big Give, you need to have a foundation fund and have it on give.berkeley.edu, which is our online giving portal. So if that is not the case for you, or a little bit of work needs to be done there, all of these bullet points tell you how to do that. So number 2, as this is an online campaign, what's important is getting your audience information together early and cleaning up your email list, because that's how you'll be reaching out to them. You reach out to them in an online way, they give in an online way. Number 3, sign up for Big Give update emails. You've already seen the slides that encourage you to do that. I have seen great marketing tips and update information come through on those, so I encourage you to be sure you're on that list. Number 4, ensure that gift notifications for your fund on give.berkeley.edu are being sent to you. And if they aren't, or you just need to check where they're being sent, you're unsure, this gives instructions about how to do that. And notifications can be sent to more than one email address, so several people at your shop can receive them. So that way you can see the gifts coming in that day. You can send thanks out to those people immediately as they come in real time. Number 5, I would strategize off the big countdown hourly contests. They'll be posted on the website on February 1st. They will be available in mid-January. And a good idea is to come to the social media workshop that's in mid-January, because that's where we really go over the hourly contests and we give tips on how to strategize off of them. Some of them require a gift, and some a social media post. So to compete in the social media ones, you have to have registered a hashtag in advance, and that is, the link for that is on Eureka. It's also written out right here on this sheet, and you could register today if you know your foundation fund already. One tactic other units have used is to pick 1 or 2 social media contests on which to focus your energy and time. I'm on the back side. Number 6 says, send emails to your audience that explain the event and include a shortcut link to give that pre-fills your fund name. So if you don't know how to create a link like that, I'm happy to explain it to anybody afterwards. But the effect for the donor is that they receive an email from you, they click on a link, it goes to a giving form that already has your fund filled in. It's a default setting. So that's a great way to get them to give. And in doing that, if you could please work around the UDAR mass email schedule, which is listed just below that. And number 7, use social media. So we're doing a lot of emailing on your behalf. Social media is a great way for you to, you can augment with social media. And what if you don't have any time for social media? Even that is too much. It's a lot to learn if you're not a regular social media user. So my offer is this. If you can recruit a student helper, I will provide a tutoring session. I'm going to set up 2 tutoring sessions about a month out. I'll make them very quick, very handy on campus. I'm picturing, I don't know where the place will be. I'm going to talk to Jeff Woods and find out where I can do it. But something really simple like 5:15 on either a Monday or a Thursday. I'll have 2 sessions so they can choose in the lobby of some central building, and it'll be a 20-minute session of explaining to your student helper what Big Give is, how they can help, and specific social media tips. So if you recruit someone, you don't even have to teach them about Big Give. We'll do all of that for you, and we'll send back to you a student who's ready to go and do the work for you. And what I'm offering them in exchange is you only have to work on this over the course of 3 days, and what you'll get in return is a paragraph from me that you can put on your resume that says how you know social media marketing. So I'm hoping that might help you guys. If you are interested in that, on the hashtag registration form, there's a question that says, would you like to have a student come to a tutoring session? You just click yes, and I will email all those people with details. Okay, below that, we've got a definition of the CMT. We've got the UDAR mass email schedule. And then at the bottom is, let's see if I can get ahead. At the bottom is, we stepped back and thought, okay, if I only have time to do 3 things, what would those 3 things be? And we came up with 4. So pick 1 or none or all, but these were our best ideas. Just not good at this. Do you want to get this to go back 1? Oh. Oh, no, I went. There it is. Okay. And thanking people. So UDAR provides free postcards, and you can also use social media to thank people. It's an important part of the process. It gets them coming back the next year. Okay, so to present the branding, here's Stephanie.
Thank you.
Do you want this?
Yeah, I'll take this. So can I see again by show of hands who was at the last presentation? Okay, so we've got a little chunk of folks. I don't want to belabor the branding point, but I would like to tell you for this group, whoa, oh yeah, this is super hyper. Well, it's because we're down here, I think. Okay, there we go. So really simply, this year's theme is the big moment. So if you only have space in your brain for a tiny little bit, regarding marketing, this is what you need to know. From now until dawn on February 1st, or from now until dawn or 9 p.m. March 7th, you want to tell people to seize the moment. Big give. We're pushing out the idea of your Berkeley moments. We want you to capture that however you want. This year we're making it really easy. There was the knolling idea that we presented earlier that you can see on the big branding document you can download from the Eureka Library. In addition, I mean, honestly, we're envisioning people taking photos, sending a screenshot of a text from their mom saying, you just got a fat envelope from Berkeley, or just a picture of your bulletin board with all your Cal stuff on it. Just the idea of these moments, and 1 million Berkeley moments make up the experience, and how can you pay it forward and make more of these moments possible. And so then day of, now is the moment. Now, give now. And then post-event, that was momentous. So this is a lot of the messaging we're going to be putting out. And if you understand the basic mechanics of that, then you're well on your way to having your own personalized branding experience this year. And the main prompt, as I mentioned, that we're pushing out to campus is, what's your Berkeley moment? And for those of you who are new to Big Give, the library is really important. We're going to reiterate that later. That's on one of Mary's slides. But basically, eureka.berkeley.edu/toolkit. In coming months, we'll be pushing out logos for you. We'll be pushing out images for you that say things like moment of realization, moment of passion, moment of all these different kinds of moments that you can push out, and some nulls, and all kinds of collateral for you to use in your campaigns. So you don't even have to come up with your own content. Woo. So now I'm going to introduce, Okay, well, so we're going to have 3 people in a row, and then we're going to have a few more slides that Mary will present, and then they're going to come back up and we're going to do another Q&A. So in order, they're going to be Tia Foss from the School of Information, Paula Floro from the Department of Linguistics, and Lily Omid from the SAGE Scholars, who is now with engineering, but we'll be talking about her experience with SAGE. So Tia, hello. Come on up. And there you go.
Okay, hi. So if you don't know the School of Information, we're a small professional graduate program. We have about 100 graduate students at any time in the building, and about 25 PhD students, and about 522 online students for a degree program in data science that we started back in 2014, around the time of the first Big Give. So we're seeing an increase in our students, and that is the focal point for us for increasing our numbers, because the big slice, or big bang contest, is where we can really make a difference. So it's been low in prior years. I think we had 18 student donors the very first year. The second year we saw a 75% increase, and then last year 78% increase over the prior year. So we've been making leaps and bounds with them. And we have a pretty small alumni population, so we are really focused on students. Alumni are doing okay, but students are where it's at. So, and we have their attention as well. Last year, I worked very closely with our student association, the Information Management Student Association, or IMSA, as I'll refer to them. And we wanted to do peer-to-peer solicitations. It seems to be the most effective way for, especially, it's a hard ask to ask your students to make gifts. So we had them talk to them via social email, in-person events. They have a Thirsty Thursday, so they could kind of educate people about the campaign on Thirsty Thursday. We have a IT weekly where we can talk to students. They all gather to have tea together. And then social media is also really big. We're sort of an IT-centric school. So in addition to the normal channels, email and social media, we also use extensively Slack, which is a team communication tool. It's very popular in tech companies, and our students really like it a lot. So we've used Slack to push out communications. It even pushes out to their phone if they have it set up the right way. So that's very good for immediate communications. And then on the day of, we had Top Dog, as many of you do, come, and we actually gave hot dogs to those students who made a gift on that day, and we rang a bell with it, to create a little excitement every time a gift came in. We had facts for people explaining what the different funds are, why it's important to give, what the big give is, all of that kind of information that they're going to ask you. So we had fingertip information for them right there. We had the hearts and buttons, so they could write what they liked about the iSchool or what they loved about the iSchool, and then we posted those all over the school, and then we put them on social media, and people really got into that. And there's a lot of good feelings about the staff and the faculty and the school in general. And then, very importantly, we thanked them right away. We treated them just like we'd treat any other donor, and in addition to the postcard that we sent the next day after they made their gift, we sent a nice letter from the dean after the dust settled and all the information was in. So that, in a nutshell, is how. And then the contest. They were super excited about the contest. That was the main messaging point. It was all about participation. These students are sometimes on a marginal budget, so saying it doesn't matter what the size of your gift is, it's how many people we can get involved. It really worked well. Oh, there's a picture of Ford the parrot. I guess it's a parrot, but that's one of our online students. That parrot became kind of a touchstone for our online students, so that was an important thing. And this is a student who's in New York, and that's what she posted to our Facebook site. So even the online students really kind of came out in droves relative to the prior years, so we're hoping to continue that momentum. And that's it.
And Paula from the Linguistics Department has agreed to tell her story.
Hello. The Linguistics Department is a small to medium-sized academic unit within the College of Letters and Science Social Sciences Division. And generally, we have been participating since day one and contest one. But in 2014, we didn't do really anything, and we got really nothing. So we decided, after only having 3 gifts at a total of $165, that in 2015, we would actually try and reach out a bit more to our alumni. And what that did was bring that number of gifts up to 60 and over $6,000. And then in 2016, and I'll tell you what we did mostly in 2016, we had 85 donors and $18,000. So we tripled last year over the previous and 40 times prior to that. So it can work even on a small scale. I'm wondering if we've topped out, but we'll see. So the second year that we did this, we didn't participate at all in any of the contests, and because it's only me until hopefully this year, it wasn't until this past year that I actually started trying to get us a little bit more out there on social media. So we did some tweeting, trying to get people to realize that linguistics is actually part of everybody's life every day. And actually, because it was Big Give, I don't know if you remember, but there was an election around last year at this time. And so we kind of did a little twist on that on the day of, and we called it Give Bigly, because number 45, there was a big thing about that at that point, whether he said bigly or big league. And one of our faculty was actually in the middle of the whole discussion of that on national and international media. So we decided to make that a little bit part of the actual emails that went out. So that was that. But bottom line, what our strategy was to, in advance, ask all of our alumni to make a pledge. Tell us in advance, are you going to give on Big Give, and how much are you going to give us? And then, when they did, which they did, I went and made sure that I reminded them that they were going to be giving on that day. But pretty much we followed the tip sheet that we did get from UDAR, and timed our emails and tried not to overwhelm them with too much, but really did try and hit with the points that we were trying to get across. But our email actually was also about what does your money give the Department of Linguistics specifically. And so we said, if you give us $40, we'll buy, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, markers and erasers for our whiteboards. If you give us $100, it'll pay for a student to work with a language informant for an hour. You know, those kinds of things, so that they understood that they were giving to us, and this is what we were going to try and use the money for. It wasn't just we're giving it to the campus and who knows where it'll go. So I did want you to know that using the toolkit, but use it sparingly as it works for you. The tip sheets were great. We did focus on 2 of the contests, and this year I had made a suggestion, and I'm glad Mary's going to run with it. I was saying, I'm the only one doing this, and it's really hard for me to do everything, including trying to be social media queen, which I am not. So she suggested, why don't you have an undergrad do it? Our undergraduate program, putting it out to them. Who wants to help? Get them involved right away. So not only can they maybe get money for their group under the new leaderboards, but also help the department generate some more interest and maybe get a bigger slice or whatever we can get. And of course, we also have a Facebook page, which we tried to push it out to. And the only other thing was, for a small department and a small academic department, moving the Big Give from fall to spring is going to bring different challenges for us. The November timing was actually a better lull time than March will be for me. We do faculty searches, we have a lot of things going on in the spring as well, getting ready for graduation. So a small unit is going to have a different set of pressures in the spring than we have in the fall. But we're ready, we're looking forward to it, and thank you.
Thank you, Paula. And our last one is our last tip from the trenches. And you guys can ask these people questions afterwards, too. Very specific questions. Most welcome. This is Lily Elmead, who is at the College of Engineering now, but did this work at the Sage Scholars Program.
Good morning. So, as Mary said, I'm at the College of Engineering now, but for 3 years I was with the Sage Scholars Program. And Sage was a tiny little program within the Division of Equity and Inclusion. It served on average less than 30 students per year, so there wasn't a big alumni base. And the first year that I was there, so I was there starting in 2014, which was actually the first year of the Big Give as well. So we did Big Give every year from its inception and learned a lot. The first year that I was there by myself with a student intern for a few hours a week. And so I think that for a lot of us, it's important to know that there are other people who are single people shop, or maybe someone and a quarter, and how to make it work. So what I learned over the first few years, the first year was just, okay, let's post a few things on Facebook and see what happens. And it wasn't a tremendous year, frankly. But it was a learning experience. So the next year, I happened to notice that we had some donors who normally gave in the fall. And so I decided to reach out and see if I could get some launch gifts for the fall that year. But I was still really focused primarily on seeing if we could enhance our social media outreach. And we put together, with the generosity of a coworker, actually, who wasn't with the Sage program, put together a video for our program that we used on social media. And what I learned is, even though that video was shared and liked and comments and all of that, it didn't drive the donations in the way that I would have expected. And that actually the biggest piece of our giving from that day was in the launch gifts. So the next year, and this sounds a little bad, but when I saw, Big Give is coming again, it's another thing for me to do that I don't have time to do. And I had to do the little calculus in my head about, does it make sense to do Big Give or not? And initially, frankly, I was thinking about opting out. because I thought, I don't know that there's a big enough bang for my buck in terms of how much time this takes to put together. But then I had an epiphany. And the epiphany was that that Big Give wasn't another thing to do, but it was a way to utilize and leverage what was going on Central Campus for the benefit of the small program. So what I mean by that specifically is I started focusing on the launch gifts. I started focusing on outreach to donors. So for those who were capable of doing a launch gift, I approached them to see if we could do that. Then for those people who might not have the capacity to give at the level for a launch gift, I still reached out. And then they committed to making their donations on the day of Big Give. I also worked with our board and worked with some of those board members to have them reach out to people in their circles to talk about Big Give and the importance of philanthropy, and to talk about this one big day of giving here at Cal. So really, rather than it being one more thing to do, I got to take advantage of all the messaging, of all the buzz that was happening on campus anyway. So that's where I, at least for my program, found that I got the most effective outreach was the pre-work that I was doing before Big Give. So with that in mind, though, I think it's still important to have some kind of social media presence if your community is used to getting messaging from you that way. So it might not be extensive, but I would absolutely take Mary up on having student workers trained so that you can have some posts on that day. Were I doing it again for Sage, that's what I would absolutely be doing. The other thing is to make sure if you're kind of, I guess what I'm saying is part of what I was thinking about is almost making Big Give a launch of an annual campaign for a small program. And so if you have newsletters pre-Big Give, you might want to talk about that in your newsletter. So let people know. And then you can send out your email if that's your best means of communication with people so they know about it then. But then you're getting support from the campus because campus is sending things out too. So your donors are going to hear about it there too. So let's see. So there's that. Then I would also recommend pre-writing your thank you note so it's ready to go out on the morning of the 8th. There's nothing better than getting, the thank you and it's timely and it's there and that's wonderful. And I actually worked with my students. We had the students do the postcard thank yous. They pre-wrote a thank you beforehand. We checked it out and so those were ready to roll too. So it doesn't have to be one more thing. It can actually be something that you use to your benefit.
Great, thank you, Lily, and all three of you for tips from the trenches. Okay, just a couple of kind of housekeeping details, and then I'll ask those people to come back up, and Jeff Woods, who is running the student portion, and you can ask them any questions. Okay, so these are the dates and deadlines. They're available also on a handout at the back.
I want to just add a couple of dates that aren't on here. Just thanks. Just so you know, if you are going to start pushing people before February 1st to the website, biggive.berkeley.edu, the actual public-facing website, there will be save the date updates on that site first week of October.
Okay, and if you're completely new to Big Give, we say it's on March 8th. It actually starts at 9 p.m. the night before, but most of the push is on March 8th. So if you hear us calling it one date, it's probably March 8th, but it actually goes for that 24 hours. Okay, so there's a toolkit on Eureka being the sharing server, and that's where you can get the pieces we've been talking about that you can market with. And this is what it looks like. So if people used it last year, it was a list. Now it's grouped into subcategories, so we're hoping that'll be easier to find things for you.
It doesn't look exactly like that. That's an earlier design, but it looks pretty close to that.
definitely sign up for update emails. I love those.
And there's a sign-up sheet in the back. Hopefully everybody signed in, so we know how many people came, and hopefully everybody picked up a survey also.
And thank you to the steering committee who worked on this. Anything else? Is that it? Is that the last one? That's it. Q&A. Yeah. Nancy McKinney.
Thank you. So show of hands, if you're not only new to Big Give, but just have never done fundraising at Berkeley, period. Okay, so I talked to a couple of people during the gap between these two sessions, and I think they've left now, but it is, so fundraising at Berkeley, separate from the Big Give, has a whole bunch of processes associated with it, and it starts with sort of, do you even have a gift fund? Do you know what a gift fund is? So if you have any questions like that, which are not going to be addressed through any of the handouts we've been talking about yet today, please feel free to get in touch with me, Nancy McKinney, and I'll connect you with someone on my team who can help you get started. Berkeley has nearly 12,000 active gift funds. So I bet you there might be one that you could use that you don't even know about yet. And we could explain to you what its defined purpose is, and that could be a launch pad for you to message to your constituents about what you might be fundraising for. If you want to fundraise for something different from that, we can work with you to establish a new fund. But that's really a good starting point, and that's something we can get totally out of the way in 2017 before you get into your marketing push.
So I want to say thank you to all of you, one for coming, two for promoting Big Give. You are what makes it work. So thank you very, very much for your efforts. I'm going to ask all of our tips from the trenches people and Jeff to come stand up here at the front, and then we can take any questions. And just Jeff Woods is, he has multiple titles.
So hi everyone, my name's Jeff Woods. I work in the Lead Center, and that's probably the easiest description for me, honestly. So in terms of engaging students, this is something that the Big Give initiated last year, and the idea is we actually do this and open up literally what you all are planning on doing for student groups to do as well. So as part of my role is I will connect with the over 1,000+ student organizations that we have on campus, potentially the 65+ fraternities and sororities, the various rec sports clubs, and encourage the students to sign up and participate and reach out to their constituencies. So reach out to their members, reach out to their families, reach out to their close friends, and encourage them to donate. So you heard some wonderful suggestions from the tips from the trenches today. The one piece that I will add to that, as you're thinking about what you want to do with this, is thinking about how you want to engage those students or those student groups that are directly connected to your department or your program, because there is a potential that they may have a student group registered with the Lead Center in addition to the work that they are doing with your department or your program. So I would encourage you to make sure that you're having a conversation with them prior to potentially them registering, so that they could be working with your department and your program, as opposed to, and this is the piece that you'll have to sort out with them, as opposed to potentially raising funds for their specific student group. So for instance, with the School of Information, that conversation around is the desire for the students to be engaged with the department's effort for the School of Information, or does the School of Information student group looking at doing fundraising on behalf of the university to support their student organization? So I would encourage you to think about that. In terms of the process with the student groups, they'll receive something from me actually on Monday. They have to sign up within 2 weeks, so they have to be signed up by October 6th. They'll attend a mandatory training session that covers a lot of this information moving forward. They have to register a hashtag, and then literally we'll talk with them about how they can engage in this work, similar to literally the conversation that we had with all of you today. So I will talk to them about, are there social media contests that they want to then target as part of their efforts around the Big Give? Are there Are there lists? They don't necessarily have the list, but asking them to think about who are the lists of folks that they can talk about, and really talking with them about who are the folks that they want to encourage to donate to support them and their efforts here at Cal. So that conversation with them around families, friends, that aunt that they connect with, a couple of times a year that they're willing to send the ask and say, hey, can you support my student group here at Cal? Those types of things. So we'll do something similar with them. But the big piece is if you have that group of students connected to your department or your program, just make sure that you've had a conversation with them about where they can really be involved and engage to figure out what fund, as Nancy referenced, what fund do you want the students supporting as well? Because the students have the opportunity to support their organization as well.
Questions, anyone? Always starts from the back.
Hi, I have a question about the student contest. So this is fund specific, where we're going to have a different fund for the student group. I think last year my unit, it was still that they were fundraising for the standard fund. But then how would you know? Because you're saying friends and parents can give to this, toward this contest as well. How would you know it's the student? How does it count toward the student competition? Does that make sense?
Because it's to the fund. Sorry. Because the friends or the parents are giving to the name of the student fund.
Also, the contest is different this year, so there isn't the contest for students to raise money for the schools. It's raising funds for the student groups. That's the difference.
Hi, so I'm a brand new organization on campus. We just started in 2016, and I started last October, right before the last big give. So a lot of the donors that kind of got our organization off the ground are donors that give to a number of different departments on campus. So is there any sort of coordination with UDAR for us not all to be soliciting the same donors from 8 or 9 different departments, organizations, things like that?
Yes, that's a good question, and that happens often. And on the email tool, it actually shows you, so if donors give to, I think it's 4 or more units, then we actually give them a reduced email schedule, and also if they give an amount on campus, like 100K plus, then we don't. Then we also give them the reduced email schedule. So in past years, we hadn't done that, and we got a lot of complaints. When we started doing this, it's really toned down, and so donors understand it.
Can I add something to that really quickly? I just wanted to add that although soliciting donors too much is definitely something we want to watch out for, part of the strategy for these kinds of 24-hour fundraising blitzes is you're supposed to hear about it a lot. So, obviously everybody hitting the same donor all the time is not ideal, but it's okay if the messaging is coming from a lot of different directions, because it sort of adds to that buzz.
Hi, so back to the student campaign question. So we've already met with our student group and established a fund, and we're actually both raising money. We're all raising money for the same thing. So back to that question about how to count the student campaign gifts separate from the main big give campaign. So do they have to still establish then a different hashtag and fund number and all of that, even though we're raising money for the same thing?
No.
Well, hashtag, they could have their own hashtag separate from your unit hashtag if you guys together want to do that. That means they could win a social media contest that you as the unit don't win. Otherwise, the gifts are to a fund name and a specific fund number.
Any other questions? Okay.
We're going to hang out if anyone has very specific questions. So, still here.
Thank you all for attending. The next session will be in October for Frontline Fundraisers.